I think I'll finally come to terms with the incident. I can finally move on with my life, now that I know that Alpha Man won't be coming back to hurt me anymore. What the fuck was that?
Hello.
Oh, come on, man, not this shit again.
I don't care. Hold this L. Oh, what's up, gamers? It's famous YouTuber Fish. Back again. I was meant to get 2 videos out last month. I thought that would be awesome. But as it turns out, I'm currently let me see here. -7 days on that. It looks like I actually think a 3-course meal of glue and crayons with a side of fucking rat poison for my actual stupid ass to enjoy delectfully would be awesome right about now instead. I thought this video would be easy to make. Unfortunately for me, I didn't start it until now. So even if it is, I'm just gonna have to deal with that fact like a fucking idiot. People like the last time I made a video that was actually about something. It is crazy how that works, I know, you don't have to tell me. So I'm gonna do that again, straight up. You probably used your big pattern-seeking brain and shit, figure out the rigdy-roo-rah thing going on the background is what I'm gonna be talking about, and you would be correct. Good job. And the thing in question would be a neat little horror game called
The Indigo Parallel.
Honestly, I'm not fully sure, and I literally saw what happened right in front of me. Also, I wasn't entirely honest when I said it was a horror game, because it kind of isn't.
Well, they're offering free fucking onions, ketchup, and mustard, and tomato.
Yeah, went through every other fruit there was.
A fruit?
Yeah.
But it also kind of is.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess we go behind the computers. I hate this.
It's the purest.
Oh!
What the fuck was that?
I don't like this game anymore.
Real quick, you might be wondering who the very handsome gentleman in the top right is. That would be my boy, Midimus. He uploaded like 6 videos 5 years ago, and still has more subscribers than me, which annoys me a lot, so if 2 people could sub, that'd be awesome. But anyway, he and I played this full game together. So all the footage you're seeing is from our playthrough, so try not to get lost in his beautiful eyes while I talk about shit, you know. But anyway, horror would probably be the first words I would use to describe it, but there's a lot of different kind of vibes, I guess. I can't think of a better word for that. Most of which aren't intended to be scary, like this part that comes out of absolutely nowhere.
This was the game that had you shook, bro?
Shut up.
There's just a lot going on. But anyway, the Steam page for the game said that it's inspired by the captivating visuals and surreal gameplay of LSD Dream Emulator, which, I mean, sure, yeah, they hit that nail on the head. Don't think I could really parse what was going on during anything but the horror segments, so that checks out. Good on the dev for that. So on there, it says that the game has procedural something. What I'm getting from that is that the game will look different based off your choices. So I guess if someone watching this decided to play the game, it wouldn't look the same. I guess it's hard to tell what a choice is in this. There's only like 5 separate times I could really think of that there was an actual obvious choice, like a yes or no or something like that. But I'm 100% certain it was taking in random shit as well, like is this a decision? this, like, I don't even know, man. It's hard out here after the lobotomy. What? Ugh. I couldn't think of a joke, so I'm just gonna take this out now. Anyway, I'd also like to note that while I guess researching this video, I decided to see how popular this game was, and apart from a singular really popular video, there wasn't much on it, which was a little surprising. It seemed like the sort of game that would have pretty decent coverage from like random horror YouTubers.
Was that the game out of 87?
Yep, that was the best joke I could come up with for that. Not my finest. But as I was saying, unless that genre of like YouTuber just like got eroded like a rock exposed to the water for 55,000 years. But like the water isn't water, it's just the urge to groom minors.
What is it like?
Well, as mentioned before, it's best experienced as a horror game, even if it's pretty tonally inconsistent, just to be, I guess, quirky, or I guess more like LSD Dream. You know what I mean. It never lets up on being eerie. Even in the more, like, silly sections, it still keeps its bite, I guess. Mostly.
Appreciate life.
Hey, Peter.
You hear that?
Just make a Family Guy joke.
Yeah.
That one's an outlier. That one is an outlier. We don't fucking... Adding a reference to the guy from Fortnite doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Whatever. It culminates into a few really well set up jump scares.
Seems pretty Euclidean to me.
I do some satanic stuff.
Is this where like the eyeball symbolism is gonna come to a head?
Yeah. That guy's gone. That's cool.
He probably just tummy ache or something.
Also some not so well set up jump scares.
But the
Oh, I don't like that.
seems like you're gonna have to touch it.
They can't all be winners, you know how it is. But other than that, it does just feel like LSD Dream Emulator, but if shit actually happened, it has any sort of meaning to it as well. There's also like an actually certifiable plot that's going on.
You, Daisy. I miss you so much, Daisy. You are my life, Daisy.
What is that?
You are so cute, Daisy.
Which I'll talk about later, because, you know, formatting. But other than being like a sightseeing simulator, there are sporadic, random gameplay sections, mostly being puzzles, but there are other things like the part where you play Space Invaders, the part where you try and enjoy a nice cold beer on your afternoon drive, and the part where you use your Luger, your GAT, your burner. I guess they were there to establish some sort of consistent pacing. I'm not sure that was actually intentional. Maybe the puzzles were intended to, but I don't think any of the other segments were. And also, I want to quickly touch on the pacing, because even though the game is semi-random in what you experience, what you see, and what you do, the pacing didn't feel particularly bad. You get a sense that something could happen just about at any moment, and events we'll call them, happen often enough that you don't feel like you're just bumming around doing nothing in particular for too long. So I think it does a pretty good job, despite the kind of game it is. One miscellaneous complaint that guy had about this game was that there's no jump button. Not because he wanted to jump, but because his fat, retarded, dumbass, lazy ass just wanted to do something. Which is fair enough. If you do get taken to an area you've already been to, it does get kind of samey, but that didn't happen a lot. And that's also assuming it's not an area that links to multiple other areas. You don't even understand how many takes that line took. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Oh yeah, also we got stuck on this one puzzle for like 20 minutes. It's been in the background this entire time. It was not hard, we just suck.
What is happening?
Before I talk about the plot, I want to talk about the way the game actually delivers the plot to you. You've probably noticed the abundance of eyes just all over the place all the time. They represent something. but they also say stuff. Like, literally say stuff. Like, not metaphorically. Like,
Yep. That's all I hear.
but yeah. And the things they say are where probably 95% of the plot comes from. And they only speak from the perspective of a character named Daisy and her experiences of the events of the story, which I think is a cool way of doing it. You get the whole story from someone else's point of view, pretty much. And the little you do get from the character you play as is unreliable, and you can't entirely trust that that's true. However, as a result of that, I only really have a vague understanding of the plot and what's kind of intended to be going on. So as a result of that, I might have to get a bit game theory-esque up in the hizzy. Apologies in advance. So for my interpretation of the plot, it goes like, the character you play as is Tom, who is a diagnosed schizophrenic, and is in a relationship with the character you get all the plot from, pretty much, Daisy. It's implied that they were together before he started showing symptoms of schizophrenia, but I'm not fully sure on that. Anyway, as time goes on, Tom's mental state declines and he becomes increasingly paranoid and violent. A large part of the dialogue you'll hear from Daisy is her being severely uncomfortable around this time, and she tries to leave. There's a lot of religious imagery, which is because that's relating to Daisy's upbringing and her parents, who, in this situation, will not allow her to leave, even though she feels in danger and shit. And at this point, Tom has stopped taking his medication, and I guess snaps, and kills her and himself through very strange method.
Nah, forget it.
Daisy is a problem. Daisy is my only problem. Bashing my head with a katana makes me feel something.
That questionable part is also further supported by this part that I've shown before, but I kind of realize how dumb that is. Like, just look at this shit. That you could probably tell that I don't think the plot is particularly good, because the last like minute and a half in this video has been just boring as fuck. If I see any comment saying the entire video is boring as fuck, I will be immediately throwing a brick at the nearest person, and honestly, you probably didn't think it was good either. I feel like it's still important to go over for the next section. I will say I don't really like the use of, like, I guess, well, I say schizophrenia, it's not specifically named, but just insanity in general. It felt very distasteful. It's hard to put words down that are good about why it's wrong specifically. But it feels weird to make it the plot basically just like, rah, I'm insane, I'm gonna kill people, and then myself, 'cause I'm insane, rah! I don't know, man. But I could be taking things wrong. There's definitely parts where I just couldn't track the metaphor. Many of us came to different conclusions than I did. Not majorly different ones, but different ones nonetheless. But I do feel like I mostly got it. It seemed pretty straightforward. I'm not sure how else you're supposed to take that if you're taking it literally. And I am going to talk about how I feel about the game if you take it non-literally, because it's a lot more interesting in a figurative sense. Also, I want to say, this isn't meant to be like a review or anything. I just wanted to make a video about this game. I think I forgot to mention that at the start. Whatever.
What does it mean?
No. I may not be smart, or talented, or good at this sort of thing, or ever passed an English class in high school, but I'm going to try to give my best interpretation of what the Indigo prophecy was trying to say as, like, a piece of media. And you're going to have to stick with me, because it might not, I guess, make sense at first. I think that the main point this game was trying to make was about internet addiction and self-isolation, and the effect they have on a person. Now you may be thinking, legendary YouTuber Fish, I thought that you said, like, 5 minutes ago, this game was about a guy who was, like, insane and shit, and he was, like, gonna, like, kill his girlfriend and stuff. Where did you get that? Shut the fuck up. Imagine it as, like, a serial experiments lane type beat, because there are some parallels. But anyway, I'll state my case. So there is a repeated use of computers throughout the game, and they really aren't given as much attention as like the eye symbolism, but I feel like they're more important just because of that fact. Is well, I'll get into what the eyes kind of represent later for this. It shows off that it's like a normal or a safe thing for our protagonist Tom. One of the few normal or safe things for our protagonist Tom, because you don't really see very much in a positive light. The only things I can think of would be computers, up to an extent Daisy, and also fucking soda vending machine. That's not important for the fucking metaphor though. But as I was saying earlier, computers are never shown with malice or like a spook associated. There's even a section where they're kind of protecting you, I suppose. Like, or not protecting, but they form like a wall that keep that face thing from earlier out. The way that I'm seeing it is that like if by going past this like wall of computers, it's like representative of him going outside of his comfort zone, and like the face thing that's in the darkness is like is an unknown, extremely negative factor that he really wants to avoid, if you get what I mean. Like more representative of being judged, I suppose, by other people. If you understand where I'm going with this at all. Whatever. Anyway, the eyes, however, are pretty much the opposite of that. They represent Daisy, who in this, I guess, metaphor is still pretty much the same, but they also represent just the eyes of other. Obviously, I'm taking this as in like the eyes are just our protagonist's fear of being seen or fear of being perceived. I don't feel like it would be a stretch to say that Tom struggles with anxiety. Even if you don't take things literally in the actual main game, I feel like you could probably state that case. So I think it would be natural, if unhealthy, for Tom to have receded into the kind of life I think the game implies he has. I see the insanity plot point as Tom not literally going insane as in like seeing or hearing things, but going insane in a more figurative sense, as in he just loses touch with reality and other people, which culminates in the final part of this, what I think the stupid murder-suicide represents. I think for Tom, it represents a final breaking point for him. He just does not feel like he can bear with the outside world or other people anymore, and cuts off the only person he keeps in regular contact with, Daisy. And you can take the suicide part as literal, which wouldn't be strange or weird, I guess. But I'd like to see it more as an emblem of regret, and that is kind of what I imagine the entire game is that it's Tom kind of half aware of the fact that he has forced himself into unhappiness by cutting everyone off. And he's half aware of that, and also half aware of the fact he doesn't think that things could even improve. Oh, also to support this fucking dumb game theory, there's a part where Tom's head is split in half, and it has a wire coming out of it. So, the fucking... that's it. Theory's fucking canon. Let's go. Or the fucking game's about taking care of your mental health or something, which would be lame as fuck, but, like, that could also be a thing. I mean, you can take this game a million different ways. There's a trillion different things you can see, hear, do, fucking... Like, if you played the game, you definitely think something different than I did. Regardless, I thought the symbolism was pretty good. Thought it was cool. Doesn't really matter if I took it wrong. It was cool to me, and that's all that matters. Fuck, this is a long video. Jesus Christ. I did not intend it to be this long. In my head, this is gonna be like 5 minutes long. Look at my stupid ass. Shout out to Vinny+ for helping me with this video, and also playing the game and shit with me. That's awesome. You know when you say the word subscribe or like on YouTube, the fucking thing shows up, like the like and subscribe button, like light up and shit. You know how awesome that is? I don't know if it'll say it. I'll do it every time I do this, but yeah. Why are you looking at me like that? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's
I'm not making videos anymore.
That's Adam.
Yay!